Hi, Chichi. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so as long as everything's working perfectly, so far it looks like it's smooth. I'm actually proud, like I managed to work these things out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's working. Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Uh, so what did I want to say? I think we just need to give at least 5 more minutes at least. It's been 8 minutes so far. So we said
Yeah.
we can do 15 minutes, right? So I think 5 more minutes will suffice. And then we'll see. Somebody just texted me now, like they're preparing for a test tomorrow. So they completely forgot. I'm like,
Okay, no, it's fine. We'll do a little podcast.
yeah.
Okay.
I literally went fishing for my t-shirt. Like,
Same here. See,
yeah.
take it up.
Awesome. Okay, I'm not sure if you still want to wait any longer. I don't know. I have somebody who might. I'm just begging and to join. Awesome. So we might have one person, one extra person is going to join us. I'm just trying to get it in.
Okay.
Send. Okay, then when she comes, then I think can take it away. It's yours after that. Hopefully she comes in anytime soon. Won't be too long. Josh, fam. There we go. I just want to check if you guys can hear me. Just react or text, anything like that. None of you can hear me. Okay, Chinedu can hear me. Josh can hear me. Tamika can hear me. So everyone can hear me, basically. That's awesome. And then see me, you can see me. It's not required, but you can see me. Awesome. Josh, I can't hear you, fam. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Sure. Awesome. Tamika, we don't need to see you. It's your choice, but we want to hear you. Nothing. Let me text. Tamika says it's not allowing her to unmute. Let's see what I can do. Already muted. Why not? Come on. Okay, I think that's it. Tamika's just gonna refresh and sort out her mic problems, and I think we'll be good. You want to start? Yeah, she's gonna come back.
Can you start? Okay.
All right. Kind of nervous.
Nah, you don't have to be nervous, man. It's gonna be conversational. Don't stress, man. You don't have to be nervous. You're an artist, man. So, by the way, I mean, LV, like, start off this whole thing. Um, Happy World Poetry Day. It is World Poetry Day. And for us, it's like first and foremost World Poetry Day. And then secondly, I think we can consider it Human Rights Day, right? Like human rights comes second. Tamika, has your mic been sorted out? Can you unmute yourself? I just want to know if that's working. Hopefully it is. Not sure why it wouldn't allow that. And she left. And she's gonna come back again.
Hectic.
Chichi, are you gonna present your?
No, you can present.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to. I'll read off you.
What do we have here? Ooh. Let's check. Oh, fam, what are you doing now? What are you doing
Yeah,
now,
I'm so
fam?
thirsty. Right. By the way, my ass, how do you guys know each other?
Chichi, how do we know each other?
Leslie and I went to the same school.
Oh, that's lit.
Oh,
Shout
Yeah.
out.
same
Leslie
school.
spoke everything.
Chichi was one of the first people to actually help me out with spoken word. So, like somewhere in the during our conversation, you'll hear how spoken word came to fruition, and Chichi was there from like very first day.
That's lit, bro. This is actually my first time actually like around poets.
Really?
Yeah. I've always like people that are around me are not really poets. So like when I give people my, and I ask an opinion about a poem, it doesn't really like mean much because I know they can't really criticize because they don't have that poetic perspective. It's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Nah, that's actually one of the things I feel like we should discuss, and it's this idea of like in philosophy we learned about, like, when we were questioning what African philosophy is.
Yeah.
There was one perspective that's called the universalist perspective, and it's like inclusive of everything. It's like African philosophy is foremost, first and foremost, philosophy itself. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to poetry and art, is there a certain universalism within poets? Like, do poets have a certain aesthetic? You understand? Like, you can't say I'm not a poet because I don't have this poetic influence or this poetic view on life. What is a poetic view on life? Like, does that such a thing even exist? Because if it does, I'm sure we'd all be writing similar poems, is it not?
I think for me, what I think about, especially when I think about what you're saying, like the universal, I think for me, what I see really who's a poet and who's not is somebody that can sort of describe an emotion, if that makes sense. Like, I think,
That's real.
yeah, like I think poetry is very much based on emotion. So if somebody is able to describe that to somebody else, and that person, another person is able to understand that, I think that puts you in the field of poetry. But there's so many other things, like you were saying, like if it was only just one thing, or like it would be boring, everybody would have the same view on life. So I think there's so many different things. But for me, I look at the emotion in a poem.
That,
Sure.
yeah, yo, you kind of encapsulated my thoughts actually, because like, why I would say before you told me this, why I wouldn't really take a lot of other people's opinions, because I said they don't have really a poetic criticism. It's like I asked them, okay, how was the poem, and they'll tell me, oh, it's good, and I'm like, okay, but like, why is it good? Describe that. What's good about it? I need more than just simple, vague emotions. I need the description of those emotions,
Yeah.
and then to me, that's when you can actually like make a real difference to our writing in terms of if it's bad, I can improve it, or what I should work on more, what I should do more of, things like that. It's
Yeah.
like if it's not descriptive, it's like if it's not descriptive, it just leaves me. It leaves me in this stationary position, which doesn't allow me to grow.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That
That
makes
does make
sense.
sense. I think even for me, like just to build on to that, for me, like what you're saying, I used to have a lot of people that would be like, "Oh, this is nice, this is good," and I'm like, hmm, But at the same time, I do like people. I was just like, okay. But at the same time, I do like people that can give me, like, sometimes I could write something and I could be like describing the tree, for example, and then somebody tells me, "Oh, that's like describing the way of life." Like when I get to see people interpret like a poem in their own way, that's how I know, okay, this is a good poem because people get to say it the way they see it. So that's how I sort of know if this is a good poem. And I'm like, oh, okay, the person sees it way different than how I wrote it and how I intended to. So I was like, okay, this is a good poem.
Damn, it's a perspective. It's like there's no right answer, basically.
No, there isn't.
Sure.
Interesting.
And one of the things, right? So my father, nah, I hope he's not even watching this, but so my father, there was like one day, we're young, like we all have certain aesthetics and certain ways we want to do. Like you've got some type of dread game going on there. My hair is all weird and stuff. So anyway, my father's like traditional, right? So he's like, you must always have your appearance looking all neat and tidy and everything. So one day he comes over to our house and he sees me do it. I had like some like long plaits in my hair. I braided my hair, and the first thing he says to me is like, "No, Liz, don't you want to be respected as a poet? Don't you want to be seen as a poet?" I was like, what? What is this guy saying? Like, according to these like traditional people, there's something that kind of like there's this notion that a poet should look a certain way or be a certain way, which I'm I'm like, it's not really true, but I can see where it's coming from. Like, have
Hmm.
you ever, have you ever, I don't know if you've watched
For real.
movies about like people in the 1920s or whatever, and writers specifically, they always had this aesthetic, man, like guys in suits, smoking cigars with typewriters and some whiskey or something on the side. And
Calm and composed.
you understand? And that was like your type of poet. And then like as you progress through the years, maybe I watched too much TV, but like you guys have watched what's this? Grownish. You know that
Oh,
guy Luca from Grownish?
oh,
That's the kind of aesthetic that people give to modern day poets. They're like poets should be all in their feelings and
yeah.
speed and like they don't care. They dress all
Literally.
funny and stuff. And I don't know.
That,
I
like
can see
that's
where it
also
comes
true though,
from.
because like thinking in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like when they talk about, oh, I write poems or I do poetry, they'd be like, "Well, really? I would never guess," because like I'm a very like bubbly person and I can be very social a lot of the time. So when I tell them, "Oh, I do poetry," I can tell them like this reaction, like, "Oh, like this character and what you do like does not click," and I'm like, why does it have to click in your eyes?
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
very
that's the
crazy how
most.
like, people. Sorry.
No, keep going. I'll go after you.
No, I think it's very crazy that a lot of people limit themselves to this like one perspective of the world that they have. It's like a lot of the times, it's not even on purpose, but like a lot of the time, you realize that they looking at things through one lens and not being open. And to me, that fascinates me.
Yeah. I was gonna say how crazy it is, but I feel like it's like an advantage somehow to you, only because you get to change this person's mind about who a poet looks like and how they speak and how they walk and everything like that, And it also just gives you an advantage because you really get that space to do whatever you want to because it's the first of your kind and it's the first they've seen a poet look like that or speak like that. So you've got the freedom to just do whatever and just be like, okay, yeah, this is what we do this side.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
into that actually. Shout out. I can ask, how do you pronounce your name? Chinedu.
Yeah, sort of, yes. Yeah, you pronounced it
Right.
fine. Yeah.
Where's like who named you?
Chinedu.
My dad named me Chinedu. Like he named all the other siblings
It's
of
a bizarre
mine.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it means God is the leader.
God is the leader. Oh wow. That's like a full sentence in
That's
one
lit.
That's the
word.
full all my
Literally.
siblings have got full sentence names. So it's full sentence.
What language is that?
This one is Igbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
Igbo, like, where's it from?
From Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, so you're Nigerian.
Half.
Half.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Other half?
So excited this side. The other
Other
half
half is
is
obviously South African.
yeah.
What?
The
other
other
half
half is South African.
South African. Right. Shout out. I'm also
Yeah.
African and I'm Congolese, by the way.
Oh, where do you come
Oh,
from,
South
Josh?
African. Where does Josh come from?
Yeah, that's us, Josh.
Come on, guys.
Come on, Josh.
Comes from the Bible, bro.
You, man.
Tamika. Shout out to Tamika.
Tamika's having issues with the mic though, and she's been fighting for the past 30 minutes. I'm not sure what's wrong with the mic, fam. And I can't unmute her from my side. Can any of you do that?
So deep.
Perhaps. I don't know if
No,
you're
I also can't.
Tamika.
It
Okay,
is such
Tamika. Okay. I was gonna ask, like, okay, yes, you can use the chat if you want to. So basically, we're just getting to know each other for now. Tamika, where are you from, fam? And who named you? I don't know why. Like, I always have this kind of fascination with who named people. Because, like, fun fact is that my father named me, but he literally gave me my entire grandmother's name. So my step grandmother, right? Her full name is Leslie Tyson Mpemba, and that's literally my name, Leslie Tyson Mpemba. So he kind of like just slapped a secondhand name onto me, like, yeah, I've got a used name.
Interesting. So you are a junior.
I'm a junior,
So
basically.
you are
Yeah.
a junior, basically.
Yeah. And I'm a junior from a
Interesting.
female. So
Yeah.
that makes it all the more awkward.
That's so cool.
Shout out to your grandma, man.
Tamika says she was born and raised in Cape Town. Her mom named her, and it means abundant child.
Oh, that's
Tamika,
cool. That's a
abundant
beautiful.
child. In what language is that? Abundant child. What's that? Japan.
Japan.
Japanese.
An African American.
No,
Oh, that's
I can't even picture a Japanese person saying Tamika like in a sentence. Like Korogohan, Tamika. Doesn't make sense.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Man.
Tamiko.
Tamiku.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so cool.
Shout out to Tamika. You guys know
Yeah.
Tamika? Oh.
Yeah. Tamika studies English literature.
With
At-
us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Studies English literature with us.
Shout out to
You,
Tamika.
you
man.
probably saw her in one of the lectures, but you don't
I can't lie
focus
to you.
in lectures.
I gotta do my essays though, bro.
It's past due date though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over for you, fam. Just accept your L. It's a loss.
Yeah, it's time. Nah, bro. It's 10% per week, bro. It's 10% per week, bro. I can still thug it out, bro.
Yo, you're brave. You're brave. You're brave. You're brave.
It is what it is, bro. It is what it is at this point. I might as well just keep on to the next. Philosophy is next right now.
You've got cards, my friend. Okay,
Where's
so
my lecture since come?
what are we starting with, Chichi?
Okay, so I was thinking we sort of start off. I don't know if you can do for me the projection of the slides, please.
Sure.
Yes. So basically, I was thinking it would be a good idea to sort of explain to people that would possibly watch on YouTube or any of our other streaming platforms, sort of explain to them why we're here today. So today, as we all know, is the 21st of March, which means it's World Poetry Day. And here at Spoken Word, we decided to celebrate that to the best of our ability, and that's having an open mic and sort of discussing what poetry is to us as individuals and how we move around poetry and allow poetry to move around ourselves. So we're going to start off with what spoken word is. Spoken word basically is a poetry network. Leslie, if you could just move to the side for me. Yes. So basically, here at Spoken Word, we take pride in talking and expressing ourselves with the utmost ability through literature art. So that's something that we take pride in. If you could just go again. Oh, okay. So we'll just go back and we'll just talk about spoken word, more about spoken word. So basically, spoken word was started by Leslie, who just happens to join us today. Leslie will tell us more about spoken word and how he really started and how that's his baby and how he cared for it and how he, really brought it to life. So Leslie, can I give you the stage to do that?
I love how she says it's my baby, like she wasn't there, like it's our thing, this. But anyway, so I didn't really want to do this, but okay. So spoken word, literally by definition, is first and foremost a medium of expression, right? And so we've taken this medium of expression and we've formed it into something that is tangible, something that is, how can I say, like something that we can all be a part of, right? And this is a network of poets, a network of people who all have something within them that they feel the need to express. And how this all like came to fruition was in high school. So both Chinedu and I attended a school in the south of Johannesburg called Nova Pioneer. In fact, they will love me for saying this because like they like their image, Anyway, so we attended Nova Pioneer and we had one of these poetry sessions in our English class. I remember we had to analyze a poem called Ballet Noctera from Joshua Bennett. Have you ever heard of Joshua Bennett?
Oh, so beautiful, guys. So beautiful.
Yeah, that's literally one of my favorite poems. I
That's
have memorized every single word in that poem, and
oh,
I
let me
still
actually
remember it
search
up
it.
to today. Yeah. Anyway, so we kind of like analyzed one of his poems, and I was so lost in this thing. I was like, how is this even possible? Like, how can somebody write something and it's so meaningful, and it took my breath away, right? And so at that point in time, they were having this what was it? It was a like a talent show. So I was like, yeah, let's join the talent show, see what's going on there. In fact, I was literally forced to by my English teacher to join the talent show. Presented a poem, and the process throughout, like writing that poem, was something that was new to me. And I won't lie, because I don't want to discredit all colored people, but most people from townships, especially where I'm from Eldos, they don't view becoming a writer as anything special. In fact, that's art is something frowned upon, um, understandingly, right? So how can I put it this way? Like, people who are from less fortunate situations kind of don't have time to waste, if I can put it that way. So everything in their minds need to be constructive, right? So you wanna do things that can get you a job that pays the bills, and writing is just not one of those things in their minds, obviously. And so this was something new to me. I've never done it before. I was never a writer before. In fact, up till today, I hate reading even. I hate reading. And we have like so many English books in like, oh, bruh, I haven't even like touched on these books, but it's fine. So I don't want to like ramble too much. I've been rambling, but so I joined the what was it? What did I join? The talent show. Yes, I joined the talent show, and the process, like throughout practicing, reciting the poem, writing the poem, it was something that was really intriguing, and I enjoyed it so much. After the talent show, I got a few friends together, including Chichi herself, and I was like, why don't we actually like meet up on a random Wednesday or Friday or something, and actually write poems like ourselves. We don't even need a teacher or anyone to teach us. We can write these things. We can write. At that time, we still had writing workshops and stuff in one of our leadership classes. And so we got together weekly. I borrowed a classroom from one of our teachers, and that's where we would like occasionally come together. We'd recite poems, write new poems. We once did this thing where everybody wrote their own poems on a piece of paper, and we actually like cut the pieces of paper and merged them to create like a collective poem thing. It was cool. And I don't know, for some reason I had this odd notion that like I should put this thing on Facebook, and I should put it on Instagram, and I should put it on WhatsApp, because I'm just like that. And surprisingly, people joined. So currently, like on our Facebook page and Facebook group, we have 6,148 members on Spoken Words Facebook group. And then on Instagram, I think we have like 2,000 something on Instagram. So like, it surprised me even, like people started joining and stuff. And so this became like an actual thing. And so now we have high and heavy and intense ambitions for spoken word. We've got merch, we've got plans, we host events, we've got a website. I'm sure you guys have seen our website, or at least have been there, because that's like how you got the tickets for this event. And yeah, that's basically how spoken word was born. It started off as an idea, and the idea just grew and grew and grew. And the more people joined, the more concrete the idea became, basically.
I think that's a very amazing story. I think it also just shows that if you're really like very much determined, like I remember when we were doing spoken word, sometimes it would just be the two of us, or there would be three, or there would be four, like, you know, just how it would change every week. And it wasn't like a huge group of people. but we still went on, and Leslie still persisted, and he still took the idea and he stood with it. So I think that was, number one, very brave, to actually stand with an idea, even though some people would have given up and been like, oh no, people are not having it. So I think that was very brave. Okay, so what do we want to do next? Before we really carry on, oh, is Leslie out? No. I'm sure it's like the signal or something. Okay. So meanwhile, while we're waiting for Leslie to join back, I guess we could just. Oh, here's Leslie. Yay.
I have no idea what just happened. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You said, what do we want to do next? I think Josh should give us something next. Please, Josh.
So I think, yeah. Just give us
I
something.
have you ready here.
Is this Josh? Okay.
I have like a special mic for you, even.
You what? Oh, you really like such like a
This guy
tiny.
literally lived. Josh,
I'm sure he'll be back. Maybe it's
are
like
you
the
still
signal.
there, fam? This guy literally lived.
Oh, here's Josh. Yeah, Josh, we thought you bailed on us.
Are you ready, fam?
When this part to this speak. No, hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so it was my turn, I think decided to start logging, but I'm cool now. Okay. Oh, nerve-wracking. My poem is called Black Woman. Should I present or should I just speak?
So you wanna share a screen?
Doesn't really matter to me. Do you guys need to see the words?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
I'll stop sharing. You can share.
Share screen. All right. What? The fuck's this? Oh. Yeah, that's cool. Can you guys see?
No, not
Oh.
yet.
Hold on. Damn.
There we go.
You guys can see. Oh, hold on. That shit tweaking. Okay. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. My poem is called Black Woman. Quick background. I was chilling with my girl. She's black, by the way. You know, I was feeling very intense emotions about, women in general. So I was like, let me just throw them out and see what happens. But yeah, here it goes. The black woman, beautiful as ever. Her brown skin reflects the heat of the sun. Melanin bearing our people's brands. The black woman, strong for the nation. Her curves for the eyes are like secrets to life, hiding all the weapons needed to defeat the enemy. For the black woman struggles to see. Her black weaves and black nails allows them to fall for the tree. The black woman is fierce and strong. Don't talk back because she's never wrong. Am I? Sorry. With all the world's needs, she gains everything she ever wanted from me. See, my black woman loves the blackness within me. She allows me to swallow my pride and be the black king I was always meant to be. See, the black woman is you. Deep, she lies within me. Her Sunday soul is warm, filled with compassion. But no one loves the black woman. She grows in misogyny, but deep within her warm black roots, her soul will let her grow again. That's it. Shout out.
Ooh.
That was beautiful.
Snap.
Yeah.
Snap. Have you said that to, like, besides us? Have you shared it with anyone else?
I shared it with her, but she's not a poet, so she was
What
like,
did
it's
she
good.
say?
She was like, it's good.
It's good. That's all. Oh wow.
I need, you
No,
know,
that was really wonderful. That was wonderful. I
you
like.
guys are the first like poets that's yeah.
Yeah.
So
In fact, you should like go to what's this UCT radio, and then you can like perform there. Apparently, there was a
for real?
session this morning to make a so I didn't get a chance to see it. It was too early for my liking. Like I don't, I'm not an early bird, fam. Yeah. But anyway,
Same, right?
you should
In
try.
the
I really
morning
like.
was
Yeah, Chichi, what
Yeah.
do you
thank
think?
you.
I think this was beautiful. I really like it. I saw a lot of things, like when you were talking about her brown skin reflects the heat of the sun. I was like, wow, this is good. And I was looking at also just the, oh, I can't see that far, but just the armor in terms of she has all the weapons to defeat the enemy. I was like that one was really nice. So I think this is a beautiful, beautiful poem. I really did like it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and what stands out is you said,
Thank you so much. Actually,
"Don't
like
talk back, cause she's never wrong." That is so black, fam. That is. Don't talk back, cause she's never wrong.
for real.
For real, we can all testify to that one. Yo, laugh, man.
So yeah, that's my poem, man. Shout
Can
out.
I ask you a question though? And I think this is like open to everyone. So, how, like, what is your writing process like? So how did you even get to like start writing this? I know someone, a friend of mine,
Give
his
us a
name
drink.
is Dando. He published a book when I was like in grade 7 already. And I asked that guy like, how do you do these things? He says he dedicates an hour of his day to writing every single day, which I feel like, nah, fam, like that's sick. Like, how can you? Okay, it's not impossible, but then like dedicating an hour, I would sit for that hour
Yeah.
and write nothing. Like there's days when I can't even think anymore. So what? What's your writing process like?
Can I be rigid? Like for me, writing is not like a consistent thing. So I'll write like a poem or a piece like once in a couple of weeks. Sometimes it can be like once in this like twice in the same week or 3 times in the same week. But normally I just, you know, I go around the world observing a lot and I observe a lot of things. Like most of my time during the day, I just look around. And obviously, when I observe things, I react to them a certain way and I feel certain emotions. So I just like let those emotions build up. And whether it's positive or negative emotions, once my heart starts to feel like it feels heavy and dense from too much positivity or too much negative, like negativity, and speaking about it or doing activity or listening to music is just not enough. I often find myself already there on the notes about to start something. So now when like once I start saying the first word, the rest just comes out naturally. I wouldn't say it's an actual writing process, just how I process emotions, I guess. I just let my heart become dense.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I can. And you, Chichi?
For me personally, one thing I've noticed when it comes to writing, I almost never write about my own emotions. I look at other people's emotions and how, somebody tells me a story and I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder how that person is feeling. And I sort of write based off that. Okay, they said I sort of write based off that. So I write whenever, like literally I could just pick up a phone and just get like an idea and then just be like, oh, okay, I'll write this. And forget about it for the next 3,000 years and then come back like after some time and be like, oh yeah, let me finish this poem. Like I've got a bunch of poems that are never finished. Like literally all the poems that I'm writing, I'm like, oh, this is never finished because it's just an idea. I write it down and I move on. Or if somebody tells me a story, then I'm like, oh, okay, they told me that, oh, they guided something. I'm like, mm-hmm. So I do that and then I write it for most of my poems are stories about other people and how they experience life.
Yo, yo, yo. Now you guys, at least like first and foremost, you understand yourselves. So that's more than most can say. It's more than I can say. Um, but like with me, my writing process involves much less writing, which is kind of odd. So like I don't know. So I'm the type of person that gets nervous when I write. Literally nervous. Like I always I always feel like what I'm about to write or I'm about to say is just not good enough. And so I never end up like jotting anything down. But I kind of like I want when it comes at any moment. So once I wrote a poem while I was washing dishes. Like you're washing the dishes and suddenly something hits you and you're like, yo, this thing needs to be written right now. Can't even wait, like right now. It happens like that. Sometimes you'll be watching a movie, a poem comes out, sometimes you'll be in a bus. I have like a little like a notebook that I keep in my bag. Um, not because I jot everything down like some of those journal type people, but then just it comes randomly. So like I can never say that I would allow, like Josh says, he allows himself to feel certain emotions. Like if his heart gets dense with emotion, I wouldn't even know like is my heart dense or is it not dense? I don't know. I'm like I don't know that much. It just comes. I'm like, yeah, when it comes, it comes. Who am I to fight now? You see? Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Tamika, what is she saying, man? Tamika, what's your writing process? She says my writing process is inspired by either my own experiences or people's. Have you ever written a poem about someone else's experience? I'm not sure I'd be able to do that. I'm always inspired by people. I usually jot down a thought that comes to mind before I forget it. Can be anywhere. Can be anywhere or any place. True. Same here, same here.
That right there is true. I once wrote a poem in a club.
In a club,
So
like
like,
a party
yeah, in a
club, like
club. Yeah, like full on. Yeah.
are you
I was
serious,
like, you know what,
man?
nah.
How,
Damn, I
how do you
swear, let me find
concentrate
it.
like that?
How do I concentrate?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I feel like once I'm in the zone and like once like I can feel like there's something, that's weighing heavy on my heart and I just need to let it out and like get into that zone. I tend to forget about everything else that's happening around me. So like when I'm writing, right, someone could be speaking to me and I would not hear them at all because like I'm just so focused on letting my emotions out and then focusing on what's happening around me after. So it wasn't really hard to focus actually.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I guess we're all like different. Like I don't even like being in congested places, so it wouldn't work for me though. I'd never be able to do that. Never in my life.
Yeah, overrated. Also overrated as hell.
Chi Chi, what's next? Are you gonna perform for us?
I could do one that sort of explains when I'm talking about like writing about somebody else's experience. This poem that I have here, let me first see if I can just share. Yeah. Okay. Is it sharing? Can you guys see?
Yep.
Okay. So this poem that I have here is from this book that I just happened to publish because I'm like, what can I do on a Wednesday night? So I have a whole book and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So this one, let me tell you a little backstory. I was watching this other series called Emily Dixon, right? So Emily Dixon, the series was based on this author, Emily Dixon, that was the first woman to sort of write beyond people and write about animals and plants and give them emotions and stuff like that. So there was a scene where in the scene you sort of see her like literally go crazy with her art. So this is a scene where she actually talks about like her going with death and stuff like that. So now I'm gonna read it. Okay, so it's called A Soulful Love Poem. When the nights are dark as day, the wind will cry, hit my window, begging me to take a ride with danger. And maybe I would. I would find his chariot covered with stains of the unknown. When the nights are dark as day, the wind will cry, banging on our chariot windows as we fly past the many homes of those that sleep while they can. Danger will just I sit near him while he gently pats me on the back, rubbing my arm in circular motion like my life circle, while whispering sweet, sweet nothings. He'll tell me how good I look in jeans and printed shirts. I'll tell you, I just might laugh or maybe even giggle. Ears heating up, cheeks covered in small scars of happiness. And when the nights are dark as day, after I will ride through the magical sky and the sun will begin to rise above heads and souls and my time will be up. Strike midnight at 5. I'll be forced to leave behind danger and return home as a princess. When it's night, I know I won't be lonely ever ever alone. Could you believe my surprise? A pillow filled with daisies. What I had imagined was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, so that's the one.
Can you put it back, please? Like, can you like
Oh,
just present it again?
okay. Let me put it back on.
That was a lot. Like that was a lot. You.
So in sort of in the scene, she's like in this beautiful red dress and she's like going off with death because she has some weird obsession and she's just trying to give something that doesn't have emotions, and she's trying to make it human. So I did the same thing, but I did it with Doc, and I sort of, made him as this thing that would take you away from all your problems. Like, when everybody's like, oh, during the day, you're like, did or whatever, and then like when the night comes out you're like this super active person, and so I try to do that, and I try to give Doc this personality that he'll take me away and we'll just have a good time at night. And then the minute it hits 5 o'clock, when I realize, oh my gosh, it's time to leave, then he'll bring me back and it will be like a beautiful moment. Like I even mentioned like midnight strike 5 as if I'm Cinderella. So he's my
Yeah, yeah. I was
prince.
gonna say, I was gonna say like something with Cinderella. Yeah,
Yeah, so he's the prince of my dreams, and
fam. I like that. I like that. In fact, you know what I like?
hmm
Um, what I like about it now is that I think it's now because of like in English literature, we are always asked to like how can I say, like to critically analyze artistic pieces or literature pieces and stuff. So what I like about this poem is like it's like a a chest with treasure inside, if that makes sense. So not everything you see here is what it actually means. Like there's a lot to interpret from it. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
like I feel like if I had to write an essay on the poem, there'd be a lot of points to pick out, other than things that are just like bluntly stated, which I think you've done well. I like that.
Thank you. I also do try to do that with like different poems. Like I said before, I want people to sort of come up with their own like meanings to the poems. Like I have one way, and then you can just say like a completely different way, and that's how I know that okay, this poem is fine because people see it in different ways.
Mm. Can I ask what would you do if so part of our critical analysis, right? So I asked one of my lecturers, I was like, now the whenever we analyze a poem or any piece of literature, are we under the assumption that the author of that the author or the writer or poet of that piece of literature has gone through those processes when actually creating or writing the poem, right? And he said, nah, it's not about what the writer thought, it's about what the reader can gain from the poem, which I understand, but how would you feel? Let's say I wrote an essay about this poem, and what I wrote was completely different from what you had like put into the poem. How would you feel about that? Would you still
I
be
don't.
proud of yourself, even though like I'm getting a whole different thing out of what you wrote?
Yeah, I think that's what I look forward to. I look forward to seeing what people think the poem is about, and also like my main thing whenever I write something is to tell a story and not to tell the story, because to tell the story is boring. To tell a
Mhm.
story means that first of all, I have people with personality that's reading this, and they they're not a bit. So that's number one. And to tell a story means different things to different people. Like one person can maybe see this as like a getaway, and somebody else could be like, oh, this like dog represents like depression or whatever the case is, just depending on who it is. And even if you wrote something completely different, I would be like, wow, that's really cool that you think that.
Yo, yo, I feel like your personality is you're so kind, man. Like I feel like I get angry. So I'm like somebody like, how do you not understand? Like I wrote this thing and now you getting something else. It's like it's not my poem anymore. That you got now, fam. It's not what I wrote. You see, like it stresses me. Josh, how would you feel if I took
Yeah.
your poem, right? Your poem literally is like I writing. It's about black woman and like the power of black women and how they inspire you to become a better person. And I just like take it a whole. I'm like, nah, the black actually stands for like dark, gloomy nights and how my spirit is enlightened in the dark, gloomy nights. Like, how would you feel about that? Like, dude, this is not your poem anymore. Like, I think you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, it's damn. I'm gonna be muted the
Yeah.
whole time. Oh, damn. That's oh, well, that sucks. But first, I was gonna say a poem is amazing. I said that earlier, but clearly,
Yeah,
Thank
we didn't
you.
hear you.
yeah, clearly you didn't hear me. Like what I was saying is like, honestly, I'll be sitting in like these English lectures, right? And I'll be sitting there and they like analyzing the poems and things. I'm thinking to myself like, how do they know this? Like, how do they know this was meant? It's like I like the fact that they give a perspective, right? We don't know if it's author's perspective or not, but the fact that we have to learn that perspective, and that's the perspective that you have to go with, is what bothers me. It's like if you show your own side of the thing, they're like, oh, that's cool, but I don't think that's what he meant, or I don't think that's what she meant. As like, or how you know what she or he meant.
My point exactly. Especially if the poet is dead. It was like Shakespeare. You never know.
Bruh.
He's dead
Yeah.
many years ago.
Like you never know, bruh. So yeah, that's like it's kind of annoying, but it's part of the game that you gotta go through it until we become the top poets in the world, and people start analyzing us one day.
By the way, speaking of top poets, who's your favorite poet? Who would you say is your favorite poet?
Your favorite poet?
Hmm.
I don't have a favorite poet, to be honest. I'm gonna lie to you.
You never thought about it?
I don't
Okay,
have
give me at least a top three.
a top three.
You at least have a favorite poem.
There's
Nothing.
other poem, but no. It's like this girl that used to go to like a school nearby me, and it's like spoken word too on Instagram, and it's so beautiful. There's like I forgot the title name, but that poem. Every time I listen to it, it's like it's poetry infused with like, you know, instrumentals in the background, and
Hmm.
there's only one way to describe it. It's amazing. It's like literally. I remember like the first time I heard that poem, I was like, because my friend showed me. It's like, if you heard Amanda's poem, I'm like, what? Nah, let me see this. And then you played it for me on Instagram, and I was just sitting there like, damn, like she killed this. Not gonna lie, like she killed this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that was the best poem I ever heard, ever in my life. To be honest.
Oh, and you, Gigi?
I don't have a favorite poet. I don't have a favorite writer. My only thing with having favorites is that I feel like I would like copy them because I look up to them in a way, and I don't want to do that. So I don't have a favorite poet or writer. I do like, there are some poems like on, what is it called? Thingy Button. I forgot what it's called.
Thingy button. Button poetry.
Button
Thingy button.
poetry, yes. I have like a couple of poems. Like there's this one that like always sticks in my mind and comes in once a while. Like every once a month, I have this poem in my mind, and
Mhm.
it's When Love Comes. I think you know it.
When love arrives.
When Love Arrives, yes.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
about
yeah.
that poem like every once a month. There's a few lines that come into my head, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't have any favorite poet or writer or whatever.
It's funny that you say that because I actually wanted to say, like, I can't
Okay.
choose between Phil K and Sarah K.
They're
Like,
so cool.
dude, like those are, I can't choose a favorite writer, but if I take them as a duet, those are my favorite writers.
Yeah, they're really
Those
cool. I
are,
like both of them. They're very talented.
dude, I wish I once emailed them and somebody emailed me back, but
Mm.
I kind of don't believe that it was them for some odd reason. I'm like, nah, I don't think they would email me back. But yeah, I wish I could meet them one day. I wanted to bring them to Nova. That's how crazy I was. I wanted them to come to Nova, but
No, but I'm sure like one of these days when you're like really getting into it and you're getting up there, you can definitely like hit them with a young Instagram DM
I'll
and they would
faint.
come through.
I will faint if I can meet one of them. I'm gone. Heart attacks, same time.
That means they say I have to find them, like I have to do something so I can see you faint.
Oh, you wanna kill me? Oh, I see you, fam. George, can you hear what's happening here? Fam, this one wants to
Bro,
kill
it's a
me.
whole scene, bro.
Oh.
It's a whole scene.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Tamika, is Tamika still here? Oh, shout out, she left.
Yeah, she left, fam. I mean, I feel her pain, fam. I wouldn't want to be here if I like have no mic. I have to type everything I want to say.
Nice.
That one sucks.
I
Nah.
also gotta hop off soon because I got this assignments to do and shit.
Sure,
Like I say
sure,
from
sure.
yesterday still.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, we're almost done
It's
anyway.
looking long, bro.
Yeah, it's not a problem, fam.
It's calm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
so my poem, my sister actually gave me the title. and it's called "Till Death We Do Art." It goes as follows: Art requires context. It serves as a reflection of the artist. The very beauty of art stems from the never ending, feet aching, sun scathing journey hidden behind each stroke of the brush. This is where its beauty lies. In the shout of frustration, the scream of pain, the cry of despair, the call for help, hidden behind each syllable of prosody. This is where its beauty lies. In the bloody noses, the swollen knuckles, the broken bones that go unnoticed in the grace of movement. This is where its beauty lies. Art is the very reason for our suffering. It adds color to our pain and purpose to our testimony, that we may prove to others they are not alone. They were never alone. They will never be alone. You may doubt my advice. You may question my appearance. All I ask is that you trust in my art, trust in my painting, trust in my poem, trust in my dance, for it is only in my art that you will see I have been there too, and I have seen it. It is only in the darkest of nights that the stars shine brightest. Thank you.
Damn.
Yeah, this was really
That shit
nice.
hard. That shit
Thank you.
This
hard, bruh. Yo. Get on. So what inspired this?
That's the question, right? So I struggle to write about material things, right? Uh, Not necessarily for any like philosophical thing. Like it's just like I just can't encapsulate like the entirety of what things are. So and I lack experience in a lot of ways, a lot of ways. I I'm not a social person, so I don't have many friends. Um, I don't do relationships, so I can't write about like love and stuff. And so like I don't know. I tend to gravitate more towards the meaning of life and meaning of art and why it is that we do what we do. And so somebody once asked me like, why do you even care about poetry? And so what I imagined is that like we're all in a soccer stadium, right? And so every person in that soccer stadium has different experiences in their lives. So one person is going through a divorce, somebody's mom is in hospital, somebody just got a promotion, somebody's on holiday after a long work or something like that. You understand? You don't know what their lives are like, and yet they're all here to watch you play soccer. You understand? That vastness and diversity of life got me so deep, and I was like, that's basically what poetry is. Because when you stand on a stage and perform a poem, you don't know what people are going through in their lives. You understand? But now they know what you're going through. So it's this idea that whatever you're going through in your life, you are not alone. I mean, I know that like when I have exam stress, it always feels like, am I the only one stressing? Because nobody wants to claim like nobody, everyone's like, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. But then it seems like I'm the only one stressing. You understand? When you're having a bad day, it's like you're the only one that's having a bad day at that point. So the moment someone gets up on a stage and says, this is my depression, you understand, or this is what love is like to me, or this is what I think about black women, you understand, then you sitting in a crowd, you're like, damn, that's that's what I thought, you understand. So it's this connectedness between um the person who hears it and the poet. And I think that's kind of why art essentially exists. It's for testimony. That's why we go through problems in life. You understand? I mean, sometimes I might complain and be like, my life is difficult and this is difficult and that's difficult, but I wouldn't change it for anything else. It has to be difficult so that you have something to share. Because if I was born into like a wealthy family and everything was like laid forward for me, I'd have nothing to say. I'd have no special view in life. I'd have no lessons taught, like lessons learned. I mean, sorry, but that's basically like, yeah, art and struggle is there to teach us something. It's for testimony, and that's what inspired the poem.
Damn. Nah,
Yeah,
that shit real.
that's
That shit real. That's the real shit. Shout out, bro.
Thank you.
yeah, that's really nice, Leslie.
Thank you very much.
I'm genuinely just stunned. Like I'm just stunned. Like you guys are really good at what you guys do. Like,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just wish I can like actually perform it like on a stage. However, I struggle to write longer pieces. You know, like when you apply, or I don't know, like when you sign up to go to an event, they usually like the minimum they give you is like 5 minutes. They're like, Chinedu, you've got 5 minutes on stage. And I'm like, my poem is like 1.5 minutes. So like I've never written an actual like long poem. So that's like my next mission. I want to try and write a long poem, something that takes up a full 5 minutes. Then I'd be pleased with myself.
I think I also want to do, I think that's also my goal. Like all my poems are like half a page or like a page. But at the same time, like I said before, none of my poems are ever finished. And I don't know how to finish any of them. I don't even know what's like a proper ending. I just end it wherever and I'm like, well, y'all will figure it out.
Cliffhanger and just
Yeah,
drops.
just drop. And there's no coming back. So
Yeah.
now, one thing I really enjoyed and like I noticed like from both your pieces is like a lot of the time when like other people show me poems, you know, like when I do come across people who write poems, it's like the words and the style of writing that they use is so complex, you know.
Mm.
You feel like you have to like relearn English, but like with your poems, it's like it's the words and the writing style itself is so simple, but yet the depth of emotion within it is so deep. So it's like, yes, I can read it, and yes, I'm seeing what you guys are writing, but I have to read it a couple of more times to fully understand it and encapsulate those emotions. And like, I enjoy unpacking that.
Thanks, man.
oh, that's
Thanks.
very nice. Yay.
That's thanks. But I feel like it's the same with yours though as well. Like yours was pretty easy to understand, and it had a lot of depth there, you understand. And what I like, um
Mm.
not so much on mine, but yours was, it's if I can say, it's truthful in terms of reality. You like reflect what we all know to be true, true qualities of of Black women. You understand? So like as you go through your poem, it's like, you know, when, not that I'm saying you're a comedian, but you know, like when a comedian or like Trevor Noah gets up on stage and says something that he intends to be a joke, but we all know that this is like real. This is like maybe when he says something about
Yeah.
South African government, and you're like, he's making a joke, but we all know this is real. You understand? So I feel like the same with you. Like it's it's intended to be this poem that flows and it's got this lyrical value and everything, but it's real. Like we get in it, like damn, like that is
It's real life.
hmm,
Yeah,
basically.
and to build on to what Leslie is saying, like with a lot of the words or you sort of have to ask yourself a bit more questions. Like you can understand what you're reading, like, oh, okay, she has weapons, but you have to ask like for what type
Hmm,
of weapons, and that's really nice. The fact that it's not just, oh, okay, here's the story, that's the end. There's more to the story, and
yeah,
there's so much, depth to it.
sure, sure. Okay, so we've
Yeah.
been on for like an hour and a half, and I know Josh has a lot of studying to do. I have a lot of sleeping to do, fam. I don't sleep enough. Fam. But I just wanna, Yo, this guy left, man. I didn't even like say bye. Nothing. He just left. Just left. Oh my God. Isn't that don't like in your what culture do you follow?
My home culture, whatever they teach me at home.
Like it doesn't have a name.
Yeah, because it's like different cultures, but they all have sort of the same values.
Okay. One of the values, like it's disrespectful to leave without greeting.
Yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah, those are one of the main values. Nah, I
you
don't
have
think
to
this guy knows that value.
Sorry,
I'm,
my Wi-Fi's tripping again.
with this in you now, you know that.
That's crazy.
yeah, walking smack behind your back.
Yeah, we were talking about you now, and you won't know what we
Yes,
said. You'll have to
I
go on
guess you never
YouTube
know.
and rewind.
Or send somebody the link so that they can just watch for you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it on my Instagram for sure.
Anyway, so what I wanted to do, like before we all depart from here, I just want to get from Josh, and I'm gonna ask Tamika tomorrow if like when I see her, if and when I see her. But what do you think about this session? Obviously now we only had four of us that joined. A lot more people actually purchased tickets, but I'm not sure why they never pitched up. That's like their own problems or whatever. But what do you think about the sessions? Because I actually want to host at least one of these every month, if possible, if God allows me to. I want to host something like this every month, and I don't want it to be too formal or something. I want it to be like the way we had it now. It's very conversational. We get in, we talk about things we love, stuff that we saw. In fact, I wanted to get so relaxed that like we can even watch a video on here if you want. If you have like a great poem that you've seen before, we can like watch a video, talk about that poem, something like that. You understand? But I really do want something like this at least once per month, and I want to get your views, like in your experience out of this show. What do you think about it? And feel free, man. Don't just say like, "Oh, it's nice," because you know that you're on YouTube, fam. YouTube won't hate you, fam.
um, to be honest with you, I feel like this is great space to like grow as a poet. I feel
Mhm.
like you can learn a lot within the space. However, also it would be like a lot nicer if there were like a lot more people. So
Yes,
I would
definitely.
suggest like doing more in person promotions type of thing. Like
True.
on our promotions work and stuff, a lot of the time people don't people just don't like online things. But when
Yeah,
like whereas where it's in person, it's like if you're speaking to someone, you can see from their reaction if they really want to or not, and that's like a different thing, when you're promoting things in person. So like to sum it up, it's a great space to grow as a poet, and I honestly would join these again, these type of sessions, because I learned a lot, you know. But it would be like a lot better if there were like a lot more people and you can like hear a whole load of perspectives. It's like, yeah, that would be really cool.
definitely. I agree. I agree. Oh, Chichi, you and I have work to do, fam. Work to do. Okay.
But it was nice. It was lit. Ain't gonna lie, it was lit.
Any final comments, Chichi?
One final comment. Well, it's
Yeah,
not really
boy.
a comment. It's just say to sort of do my little book promo type of
There we
thing.
go.
Yeah.
Type shit, type
So,
shit.
so okay, so it's my little book that I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do on Wednesdays? Wednesday nights, because that's my knitting night. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write the book. I'm kidding. I don't knit.
Yo,
Oh,
yo, 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 yo. I was literally like, what? Knitting night?
No, I don't knit, but yeah, Wednesday is my free time. So I was like, what could I do? And I decided to write this book called All My Stars. It's just basically a collection of poets poems that I have, that I've written over the space of like grade 8 to grade 11. I only have like about 4 new poems in there, and everything else is just basically all those little poems from grade 8 to 11, and maybe I just like put a comma
That's really
somewhere
cool.
there. Yeah. So I just have that book, All My Stars. Yeah, and it's a really cool book. I get amazed every time I read it myself, and I'm like, this is really cool. And I like, yeah, so the
You
book,
have one with you,
the what?
like a copy of the book. Can we see it?
No, I don't have the copy of the book because I did start. I was trying to put it online to get like an ebook because I thought that would be more accessible to people.
Oh,
But I will definitely get a copy of the book. Oh, let me show you guys my cover.
That's so lit.
Let me show you guys my cute little
That's so
cover.
lit.
Thank you.
yeah, you should
Wait.
publish a book, fam.
Yes, it's so fun. It's so
I
fun.
actually wanted to. Like I told myself, like when I'm done with, like university in general, I want to start
Yeah.
a book, and I want to write 2 books. It's going to be a fictional book with
Mm-hmm.
these like
Mm-hmm.
whole settings and everything, and then my
Sure.
second book is going to be like a collection of poetry. So like you know like how music, if you like
Yeah.
listen to like certain albums chronologically, they have like a storyline, but then if you listen to it like a certain type of way, it's like a different storyline and all those type of things. I want to create, yeah, something like that, but with poetry, like an album
Oh
of
wow,
poetry.
fam.
Yeah. So those are the 2
Ah, and
books.
then why'd you stop?
No, I
No,
want to
I
do it.
didn't stop. Oh, I'm waiting for Josh. Yes, carry on, Josh. Sorry.
Nah, that's it. Those are the 2 books I want to write about. No, so I want to see a book, right? I'm gonna lie.
So it looks like this. I don't know. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it looks
that's
like
it.
this with a pen on my stars. Because my writing on my
Oh,
stars.
Did you design
oh,
that?
yeah. I was
Yes,
about to ask.
I
That's
did.
cool. How did you even do that, man?
I did it with ooh, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is Canva that I sort of designed it with.
That's
Man, that's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So
That's
I did
cool.
it with that on my stars because my writing is my stars. And in like the book, there's about like 3 chapters, and it's me, you, and beyond. So it just talks about me and how I see myself, and then you is how I see other people, and then beyond is the aftermath of everything from grade 8 to grade 12.
Sure.
Shout out. That shit lit.
And this year, definitely I'm gonna publish 3 books. Like,
3
even if
books.
I have to fight, yeah, I'm gonna have to fight somebody, but because 3 books are coming out for sure.
You,
That's lit.
I
That's lit. Ah, that's
that's
cool
an
as hell.
ambition. That is
Yeah,
ambition.
for sure.
My
Like,
ambition is like just to write a poem. I haven't written a new poem in almost a whole year, fam. A new
oh,
poem.
that's long. Yeah.
Yeah, like I told you, like with me,
Hectic.
it just comes when it wants to. It comes when it wants. I can't
Absolutely.
like sit and write something, and it won't work that way. And for some reason, it doesn't want to. I think it's all this academics. It's like, you see,
Mm.
the more academic I get, the less artistic I become. I don't know why. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. That's cool though.
Anyway, fam, I'm gonna love and leave you. I think our session has come to an end. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you guys.
Thank you.
pitching up. Um, Thank you to everyone on YouTube that's actually watching this. Thanks to Tamika. I know she left us now, but she really tried. She tried to stay in longer than
Are,
I
are,
would have if my
are the
mic
people
wasn't
on
working.
YouTube watching right now?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
streaming. It's live, fam.
Oh wait, for real?
Yes, you didn't know.
Oh, I
What
thought
did you
like
think we were talking about?
I thought the recording was gonna get posted on YouTube. That's crazy.
No, it's live. Like they're watching it now.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah. Shout out. Yeah. You can shout out to your mom, your dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to spoken word poetry.
Yeah, thanks. And then lastly, one of the biggest shout outs goes to Chinedu herself. Thank you for hosting this event. Chinedu is one of those people who like relaxes me, you know, like behind the scenes, like I might be laughing here, but behind the scenes, I stress about these things. I stress a lot. Like poets, you know, like yo, fam, it's a lot of stress. And then she's just like, Leslie, calm down. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, you know. So yeah, thank you very much.
That's
Chichi. I
so lit,
appreciate
bro.
it.
Tough
I
shit.
appreciate it.
Tough shit. That's lit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chichi, man.
Okay.
Yeah, guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I thought it was very beautiful. And the different perspectives. I also like the fact that you can have conversations. Like Joshua was saying, it is really hard to have conversations with people that don't really get poetry. And they just like, you know, just be like, oh, that's a great poem. And you're like, So yeah, so it's really cool to have, you know, people that, you know, they can actually like analyze and be like, oh, this part is cool. This, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys.
Okay. Bye.
Peace.